Matt Stevens, Montgomery Advertiser. Derek, obviously there's the rule change with the field goal blocking rule, and let's be honest, people are going to call that the Zach Cunningham rule. Your thoughts on the rule change, and do you think it restricts somebody from making an athletic play on a football field?
You know, those plays make college football great, in my opinion. But, you know, here's the thing. It always starts with player safety. And that's what we always have to get back to is player safety. I think that's the spirit of the rule, is making sure, that we can keep guys from landing on top of guys or going top over, tea kettle and landing on heads. And again, for me, I'm always about being within the rules. That's what we have to do. That's what it's about. That's what makes our game great. I truly believe we're getting better. We're getting closer. But for me, the play's in the vault. So hopefully I can go back and cue it up on my VCR. Did I just say VCR? Oh my goodness. Oh, excuse me. Cue it up on my DVR, okay, and see it from time to time.
Left side here, front row.
Coach, two-part question.
Right.
First, the end of the Tennessee game last year, your interview with Cole. Did you rehearse that before, or was that just kind of a spur of the moment? And then also the now famous vests. How did those come about?
Well, the interview was spur of the moment. Believe me, if you're around me, it's spur of the moment. If you know me, I am who I am. I try to be who I am all the time. I try to be consistent, and so that's just me. Energy, excited. I can remember 3 years ago, what it looked like after my first game. So, man, to be able to feel the joy of that game. In the midst of that was, tremendous. And so what you saw was genuine love, excitement, passion. That's what it is. The vest, that's a whole nother story. That vest, man, that vest taking on a life of its own. It's got its own Twitter account that I never read. The vest was just something that came about because I was cold and I didn't want to wear a jacket. So, I put on a vest. Our fan base liked it. It had Vanderbilt on it. Everybody said they wanted one. It moved us in the right direction, and you know what? The movement is still going. So, Nike has told me I can't wear it in 2017. Per our agreement, it got too much play. So, but I may break it out. I'm a bandit every once in a while. I think I may break it out. We'll see.
Right side, second row.
Hey, Derek, Scott Griffin, Birmingham. What do you try to implement that lets the Northwesterns, the Dukes, the Stanfords be successful with the things that they have? You're kind of mirrored a little bit like that. What do you carry over, and what are you trying to let us in on that a little bit?
Well, I think you have to, first of all, it starts with your mentality. David Shaw, I've been around David a long time. His process is very unique. He's specific. He went to Stanford University. He understands what that is. When you talk about Fitz, being up at Northwestern, he's been in that program. He understands, who they are, and he's never apologized for being at Northwestern. He's taken on the tough challenges. I think those are things for me that I've had to, come to grips with and move around and sort of mold and bring ourselves into this program into a little bit, is just understanding who we are. When I talk about RTI, when I talk about relentless, tough, and intelligent, that's who we are. That's what we want to be. We're blue collar. People may think differently about Vanderbilt because it's a private university, but you come watch us practice, you come watch how my program is run, it's blue collar. And part of that comes from Jim Harbaugh and understanding, and how he helped shape that Stanford program when I was there. So I think what you do is you look at the pieces of who you are, you try to bring it into a metaphor, give it an identity, and then start to grow your brand. And that's what we try to do organically, is grow our brand. And right now, this thing is on the rise. Vanderbilt's on the rise. You can look at it from recruiting to where we're at football-wise, to what we've done on the academic side of it, and that's what Vanderbilt wants to be.
Left side here, front row.
Dick Cox, Cox Sports Broadcasting. Coach, what does it mean to you and your program actually, I guess, getting that monkey off your back, getting bowl eligible last year?
I think anytime you make a bowl, especially for the first time in your tenure, okay, it's validation of the hard work. See, if all you do is work hard, but there's nothing at the end of it, okay, it just leads to when a group of young men, and not really understanding your vision or why we do the things we do. It helps them understand why we get up at 5:45 in the morning. Okay, it helps them understand that nobody really cares about your GPA across campus because you got to compete 268 days a year over there and then come over to the football facility and play in a conference where nobody's going to give an owl's hoot, okay, man, about what your GPA is. Okay, it validates who we are, how we work, the idea of being relentless, tough, and intelligent. And so now, man, these guys see it as a movement. Okay, they've gotten behind the movement. The movement's got legs. It's sort of a crawl, walk, run mentality. And right now, we're just starting to stand up on one leg, and hopefully we can get the other leg up and start keep it moving in the direction that we need it to go. I mean, these guys are extremely excited about where we're at, and right now, I think it's the tip of the iceberg.
Right side here, second row.
Coach Phil Dean, Associated Press Radio. You got to spend some time earlier this year with Patriots coach Bill Belichick. What did you learn from him from a coaching perspective to help you and your staff in the future?
It really blew my mind, to be honest. Coach Tomlin, a couple years ago when I went to Pittsburgh, outstanding. Coach Belichick, incredible. You're talking about a coach who's won at the highest levels and found different ways to do it with great personnel leaving, through free agency. The culture in that building is different than any other culture I've ever seen. The leadership is thick. When you walk in the room, it's Tom Brady, it's Patrick Chung, it's McCourty, but Bill Belichick is the catalyst. He leads that group every day. The expectations are his expectations. What they do is incredible. How they practice. When you see, Amendola and these guys and how they work. I saw Brendan Cooks. That dude was working like, seriously, working like he's trying to get a job. Here's a guy who's a former, first round, second round guy. He's in there and, he's talking to those older guys and he's trying to, get that work. I tell our guys all the time, it's about that action. And that's all I saw when I was in New England. Nobody was, worrying about getting out of drills. They were trying to find a way to get an extra rep. And that says something to me about, winning. That says something about culture. That's the type of culture I want to have in my building, where guys don't run from work, they run to it. And that's important. That's what I got out of that visit. And I truly believe I've shared that with my guys almost every day since I've been back. And so we're on that grind right now.
Center Al in the back.
Don Yates, RandyMania.com. Coach, you spoke earlier about Stanford, where you used to be the defensive coordinator a few years back. And that team, a few years ago, was just absolutely destroying everybody throughout most of the season. How far, looking at this team, this Vanderbilt team you have, comparing it to that team, you got a lot of guys back. How far do you think you guys are off from being in that kind of competitiveness level?
You know what? I'm not a prognosticator. I'm not into predictions. I'm about work. I do remember getting to Stanford in 2010 after they had just gone 6-7. In that season, and that journey yielded 10-2, 12-2, 13-2. We did special things, there. So I've seen that before. I understand what it looks like. I've got a junior-senior football team that's starting to come into its own. When you get that, it's a special time. So what we have to do is do the work, be about the work, play the games, let the games take us to where we're trying to go, and hopefully at the end of the season you see what I'm seeing.
We have time for one last question. Right side, third row.
Hey, Derek. Matt Smith, Southern Pigskin. Going to start a lot of seniors on defense this year, a lot of guys who came in with you, been in the system 3-4 years now. how can you take advantage, obviously experience is great, but what can you do in terms of maybe putting more complexity on them or, I don't know, pre-snap type things because you have so many seniors, so much experience? How can you capitalize on that, I guess, from a schematic perspective, or is the playbook just the playbook regardless of sophomores, juniors, seniors?
No, I truly believe, college football is a junior-senior sport. Anytime you get to that level, what you're looking to do is make sure you can put these guys in position to make plays. These guys want more. They've asked for more defensively. It can be as complex as they want it to be. Right now, we base out of about 12 or 14 different defenses in terms of the structures. It's probably going to grow to about 28 this year in terms of the schemes and what it looks like because these guys are ready for it. We went through it in the spring. We laid the foundation. These guys are going to continue to move it forward, but you're going to see a different football team. You're going to see a different football team than it's been the last 2 years. And we've had trouble creating pass rush. This group is full of pass rushers now. This group is full of edge guys who can rush and drop and do different things. So the dimensions and the stress that I put on these guys is going to be an everyday deal. Okay, we're going to have to make in-game adjustments. We're going to have to adjust it, week to week. And so, in order for us to go where we're trying to go, it's got to be about us making sure that we have enough bullets in the gun. We're going to have bullets in order to play football in this conference because week in and week out, you're facing some of the top offenses, in the country.